Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
This week's national interest is uncharacteristically a little bit of a rant, and I will tell you what provoked it in just a bit. Look at the state of our cities. That is what I am ranting about. 15 of the 20 most polluted cities in the world, the latest data tells you, are in India. We breathe that air, we drink that water, we live among mosquitoes, garbage, our rivers along the cities are cesspools. We just lead a very poor quality of life. Now, if you are well to do, you can perhaps live in a fancy apartment building, put your own bore well. In any case, you have your house, you have your private security, bore well, power generator. You can live some kind of quality of life. But if you are not rich, and particularly if you are lower middle class or poor, you live in the worst kind of slums. So if you look at 5 of India's big cities, that is Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Bangalore, Hyderabad, about 9 crore people live there. It's a lot of people. And I use the example of New Zealand. Everybody seems to love New Zealand now because of Jacinda Ardern and Ken Williamson. It is now the liberal El Dorado. New Zealand is all of about 45 lakh people. So 20 times as many people as New Zealand live in these 5 cities of India. And cities are ballooning. I'm only confining myself to these 5, but if you look at it, urbanizing India, then McKinsey Institute and others now tell you quite conclusively that by 2025, 5 years from now, more people will be living in cities in India than the population of United States of America. The point is, what kind of quality of life will they be living? Most of them will be living in slums. In Bombay, once again, if you use the New Zealand example, more than twice the population of New Zealand lives in subhuman slums in Bombay, and there are many others living in semi-slums. In Delhi, slums are not that large, there are slums, but in Delhi, the equivalent of slums is the unauthorized colonies. So, several tens of millions of people in Delhi live like illegals in unauthorized colonies with very poor water supply, very poor facilities, very poor safety, mafias rule, there are water mafias, there are law and order mafias, there are police mafias, all kinds of mafias, because once you are illegal, then everything becomes illegal around you. Now, what has got us here? And also, why is it so that in spite of our cities being so bad, millions of people are still leaving our villages and coming to the cities? Because just as our cities suck, so do our villages. In fact, our villages suck even more than our cities. At the same time, we are caught in this old trap that Gandhian hypocrisy left us with, which is that cities are evil, villages are virtuous. There was the old argument between Gandhi and Ambedkar when Gandhi said, India lives in its villages, and Ambedkar said, but must it continue to do so forever? Because a village is an unequal place. Also, village has much poorer infrastructure and much less opportunity than the city. So people leave in their millions, their villages, to come to cities looking for more opportunity. And what happens then? Then they spend the rest of their lives in slums. They still feel they are better off than their villages. So this psychology has led to a situation where all our cities grow without being planned, because we think somehow that it's politically incorrect or it is just politically unwise to urbanize in a refined manner or in a regular manner, or plan our cities. So our cities come up by themselves without any infrastructure. And once the cities come up and people start living there and buildings come, then you try and shove infrastructure underneath them or above them. You can see this across the country. In fact, go outside Delhi, you can see it in Gurgaon. Gurgaon, all of the new development in Gurgaon, which is India's sort of fanciest new city, you'll be surprised to know, unless you live in Gurgaon, that Gurgaon has no sewer system. Every building at Gurgaon is sitting on its own septic tank and on its own diesel tank. They make their own power and they bury their fecal matter underneath their own buildings. So this is the state of India's cities. And what has triggered this thought? This thought has been triggered by the latest judgment of the Bombay High Court on basically setting aside or stopping the Bombay Coastal Road project. Now, it's a very well argued judgment by the standards of Indian judiciary. I would say it's one of the best argued judgments that I have read in a long time. Also very comprehensible. Samajh aati hai. But as you read it, you wonder, because this project has been stopped, this project would have eased traffic, this project has a BRT corridor, so would have got a lot of buses running and connecting the lower middle classes and the poor to various parts of Bombay from north to south and vice versa, etc. But this has been set aside, one on a technicality, that because this project also involves reclaiming 90 hectares of land. 90 hectares of land. So it is not just a road building project. The clearance was given for a road building project, but this is a city development project. And second, that this needs wildlife clearance because some corals might be damaged. Now, surprising that corals survive around Bombay. So a study which has been presented in the court says that in two places, in Haji Ali and Worli, little bits of corals are present. How much? 0.251 meters and 0.11 meters. That's a total of about little 3.5 square feet. For that much coral, now you have to go back and take wildlife clearances. So I'm taking my life in my hands and I'm getting into this hopeless, lovely coral versus ugly human debate, which I know has lose-lose written all over it. But once in a while, you have to take a few risks in public debate and speak the truth.